Lada.
And that is how you do it, folks. That is how you get a big victory at home. Packers win 34-13 over the Cardinals. Woof. Cardinals. Wow. I expected more from you, I'm afraid. But the Packers do get the victory, and they improve their record to 4-2. A very crowded, very top-heavy NFC North. We will get to that as the show goes on this morning. Gabe Neitzel out for the week. He is in Scotland doing the golf thing. Mark Chmura, we are efforting from Florida, who will be joining us as the show goes on. But I got Joshy DiMaggio here, and Joshy, I know you loved that win because it felt like the most complete win that this Packers team has been able to put together.
Yeah, it felt wire to wire that the Packers were in total control of that game. It was, as both Matt LaFleur and Jordan Love have said, complimentary football. The Packers keep turning teams over, and Jordan Love, to me, played his best game of the season. He does have an interception, but as we all saw happen there, that was clearly a slip, not his fault. It maintains the same feeling I've had, as if the Packers figure it out, put it together, they are amongst the best teams in the NFL and are a serious contender to win a Super Bowl.
4 touchdown passes for Jordan Love, 2 of those to Romeo Doubs. We will continue to talk about the Romeo Doubs situation and then how that manifested his performance on Sunday. Jaden Reed also found the end zone, as did Christian Watson. Good news for all of those folks out there who want to celebrate all the victories, who want to celebrate all the highs. No Johnny Raincloud here. No Gabe Neitzel. So we're not going to talk about, the pass rush, they 4 and couldn't get pressure. They didn't need pressure. Joshy, that was the great thing, right? Like, I was afraid, honestly, that Kyler Murray was going to be able to hurt our team with his legs, with the run. And they were able to contain him pretty well. I know we played the Williams play in the open there. There was no better indicator for me than that play right there, when obviously they're trying to trick you behind the line of scrimmage. Williams stays home, reads it the whole way, takes down the quarterback. That to me was indicative of how this front line and how the defense as a whole handled Kyler Murray and company yesterday.
I don't want us to slip past that or just kind of move past that, because if you remember just a year ago, guys like Kyler Murray, Jalen Hurts, Anthony Richardson, they would just run all over the Packers because Joe Barry and his defense wouldn't have a plan for that specific thing. You saw it again, and it happened in those first 2 games that they played, where they did the sort of mush rush thing. You gave your initial burst. If you didn't get home, you just kind of stayed and watched where the quarterback was going. They also were planned for the designed runs. The one you mentioned with Evan Williams, they knew what way that ball was going to go, and they sent 2 guys off that edge on purpose because they know in those situations they like to run that read option and try and get Kyler Murray out on the edge. It feels to me like the first time in a long time where there's truly like a technician at defensive coordinator that is getting those guys ready for what's going to happen throughout the game. And I haven't felt that in a long time as a Packers fan.
Now, admittedly, as the game went on, and this is, situational, I felt like I was watching a little bit of Joe Barry defense later on in the game. Why? Because the game sort of played out the way it did, where the Packers could afford kind of just sit back, keep everything in front of them. That was a huge issue people had with the defense under Joe Barry, because he did it all the damn time. Right? You pick your spots. And I thought that was really, look, they could still do it. We know that they can do it, but obviously for them to do it in this later in the game, in the second half of that game, when the game warranted it, when the score dictated it, it was like, yes, this is how it was supposed to be. Play aggressive with vision early in the game, get those turnovers. Xavier McKinney's streak does come to an end. Just a little disappointed about that one. Was hoping that he could go every week with an interception. But as a whole, the defense played really well. And if you're watching the offense, man, are they humming. Man, are they clicking, firing on all cylinders right now. I think that was the thing that I was most optimistic about, because Jordan Love has the injury early in the season. He's dealing with the knee injury. You're not sure how long it's going to take him to get back to full strength, where he is trusting that knee, where he is trusting all of his mechanics and not having to compensate for the knee. And yesterday, Josh, you tell me if I'm wrong, I thought he looked as close to 100% as we have seen him this year.
Yeah, we started to see peaks of it the past 2 weeks where it looked like, there's something here. I mean, he was
pops of it, pops of it. Here it is. Oh, there it is. I think I saw it. Little speck.
He was not afraid to use his legs multiple times. He did slide. Thank you for that, Jordan. Thank you for continuing to practice good behavior there. And you didn't see the throws off the back foot that were kind of just lobbed out there and like the uncertainty about how his body was going to handle it. Like he stood in the pocket, and credit to the offensive line, there wasn't much pressure on him all game. But that was a guy who looked much like the guy we saw in the second half of last season, where he was confident, he was making throws, taking some risks, and not that risks are all bad, but really delivering the ball. There was that fourth down throw to Christian Watson, big time throw.
Yeah.
The touchdown pass to Jaden Reed, big time throw. Put that where one person can get it. And that is the guy we all hoped we would see, who was confident in what he was watching and seeing out there, and then delivering the ball the way we know he can.
Now, we will talk about some of the things that the Packers can clean up, but overall, I want to be clear on this. There is elation. There is celebration here this morning on Jen Gabus Chewy as we talk about the 34-13 win over the Cardinals. Penalties? Yes. Still have some pesky penalties that the Packers need to clean up. Obviously, we can talk about Narveson, who missed another field goal, and I know we talk about this all the time. The line pray that Matt LaFleur was quoted as saying to Tom Rinaldi in a Fox pregame, in a Fox production meeting when Anders Carlson was out there. Are we hitting pray levels with Braden Narveson as well? Have we reached pray levels? Are we at rosary levels? Are we now thinking that this young kid, who again is young, is going to cost them a game down the stretch?
What's worse than what's higher level? I'm thinking confessional. Do we need another baptism of sorts? He is missing. Braden Narveson is missing field goals that nobody in the NFL is missing right now. It is levels of bad and incompetent that is hard to imagine in the world that we live in now with the NFL and their kickers. Those type of kicks that he's missing are automatic. The interesting thing, and Jason Wilde's brought it up to us a few times, is he seems to, whenever he misses, he's missing right. He missed right again in this game. And it was where he's placing his foot, It's still happening, clearly.
But they told us he cleaned it up. That was that was the narrative headed into these last few weeks. Was they noticed a problem, they identified it, they changed it, and making field goals. And so now it's like, oh well, are we back? I got a whole theory on this. I'll get to it as the show goes on. A whole theory about the Braden Narveson kicker in Green Bay situation. I got a whole thing I want to get to as we roll on in the show.
Jen, you said you've been doing some golfing with your husband, right? He's
kind
of been teaching you, taking you through the ropes. I imagine it's similar to with the kind of having the same issue pop up is you can work on one thing for a long time and get it fixed. And then once something else pops up, you go back to your old habits. Because I envision kicking much similar to your golf swing. There's a lot of moving parts. You got to make sure everything is correct. And, a few seasons ago, we blamed everything on the process, and they weren't getting the snap right and the hold right and all that. And it was a high snap, so I imagine that had something to do with it. And I think he's just not a battle-tested type of kicker. And the problem is of course he's not. He's a rookie.
Right.
He was available for a reason. There's a reason he was freely available, because he had never kicked before. Nobody knew anything about him. I'm really afraid that that's going to end up costing them at some point this season.
Sam weighing in saying, what's higher than praying and rosaries? How about an exorcism? We need him out. Sam, congratulations. You got the joke. 800-990-3776. Your reaction to a huge Packers win yesterday, 34-13. And look, if you're talking about playoffs and you're looking at the NFC North and you're saying, the Vikings stand pat, obviously they're 5-0 and every other team won this weekend. The Lions, holy moly, was that an ass kicking? Absolute throttling of the Dallas Cowboys. It looked like they were having fun doing it, right? Sometimes you're like, we are beating you by so many points, we feel a little bad. Didn't see any of that. Didn't see any of that from Dan Campbell and company as they absolutely dominated the Dallas Cowboys. And then the Bears getting the big win in London as well. Mina Kimes said, headed into the season, that she thought the NFC North was the best division in football. It's sort of starting to feel like that's shaking out that way. And I don't know if that's a good thing for the Packers or a bad thing for the Packers, but it sort of feels like we would like some of those teams to stub their toe as they continue rolling on. 800-990-3776. Dave from Aaron saying, I was embarrassed as a Packers fan when I see the stat pop up in the game yesterday that he has missed the most field goals this season. There are teams that kicked 5 or 6 field goals in one damn game. Yeah, there is frustration there. And if you want to sit there and harp on it yesterday in a victory, you can, right? It is the one glaring Achilles heel, Achilles foot, if you want. You can sit there and harp on it. I would rather focus today on all of the other things that the Packers did so damn well to win that game. 800-990-3776. So I want to get to this before we take our first break here this morning. We are continuing to effort Mark Chmura from Florida. He is down in his Florida home as they assess some of the damage sustained by the hurricane that went through there over the last few weeks. Are the Packers a legit Super Bowl contender? Because last week, after a victory, when Gabe Neitzel was still like, I don't know, this defense, I don't know, this pass rush, we got issues, we got problems, things that are going to bite us in the tail as the season rolls on, we were like, hush, they'll get it figured out. Did you see enough yesterday from the defense, maybe the pass rush in particular, to make you feel like they're starting to figure it out? Because, Joshy, to your point, mobile quarterbacks that can run, quarterbacks that can hurt you with their feet, have been issues for the Green Bay Packers. They have struggled to contain them. They have struggled from keeping those quarterbacks from running all over them, for picking up first downs, for finding the end zone, and this is something that they did not do yesterday. Kyler Murray was in check. Kyler Murray and Marvin Harrison Jr. are still not clearly on the same page. We believe there is a learning curve there that happens with rookie wide receivers. It takes a little bit of time for them to adjust to the professional game. But Joshy, did you see enough from the Green Bay Packers yesterday in their dominance over the Cardinals to say, book it, Super Bowl team? If they don't stub their toe, if they don't beat themselves, this is a team that deserves to be atop the NFC.
I think at this point I've seen enough to think they are absolutely a Super Bowl contender. I was looking for two things. One was, is Jordan Love going to return to form and show the high-end play? I'm not expecting him to play like that for all 17 games of the season. Nobody in the NFL does that. The other thing was, is the defense going to be able to create turnovers? At this point, the defense is one short of their total all of last season through 6 games. I think those two things are the biggest factors for this Packers team as it exists, because there is so much talent out there that's only going to keep getting better, especially on that defensive end. We saw Evan Williams make a play. Edgerrin Cooper is all over the field. To me, this team as it stands right now, and not even factoring in for them getting better, are absolutely one of the best teams in all the NFL and are going to be probably one of the last 4, 5, 6 remaining when it comes to playoff time.
So we don't want to get ahead of ourselves. We're not sitting here saying if the playoffs started today, we understand that that's not how this stuff works. But it does feel good to be able to stack success and to be able to see incremental progress, whether it is Jordan Love and getting better and getting back to 100% from that knee injury, whether it is the receivers figuring out the timing, whether it is Romeo Doubs emerging from whatever the hell all went down over the last week or so where he wasn't at practice and then missed the game because he was being punished and then had everybody else talk to the media and then finally talked to the media, had a few good days of practice, as Matt LaFleur said. Whether it's all of those things, you are working your way toward where you want to go. And I think you need to celebrate those little successes as well as the big wins over teams like the Cardinals yesterday. We're going to take a break here on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. We're going to get Mark Chmura here on the show. We want to get his reaction to the win as well. Talk about Jordan Love. Talk about the defense. Talk about Nervous Narvison, which is the nickname he was given by one of the broadcast crews. And talk about the NFC North. And, Joshy, we're going to talk about that 8-player parlay. Was it 8? 8-player parlay that you put in this weekend. We'll talk about that as Jen, Gabe, and Chewy rolls on.
More Jen, Gabe, and Chewy coming up on 94.5 ESPN.
Moving along pretty well so far this morning. We just have a little bit of a backup westbound 94 as you're heading through the stadium interchange towards Mitchell Boulevard. Otherwise, the rest of the system is actually looking pretty quiet. Volume's just starting to wake up a little bit. And checking the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast today. Isolated lakefront showers early, then the afternoon scattered showers, breezy and cool, a high of 54. Tonight, scattered showers, waterspouts are possible over the lake, a low of 40 at the lakefront, 36 inland. Weather's brought to you by the Neal Group. They know how to minimize your taxes to keep more money in your pocket. Visit nealgroup.net to learn more. That's nealgroup.net. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 94.5 ESPN.
Using gas to heat our homes can be dangerous, but we have the technology to transition to clean electric alternatives. My name is Matt Vespa. I'm a senior attorney at Earth Justice, and I'm going to court to fight for clean energy. Until safe, affordable clean energy is an option in every home, I will never rest.
Earth Justice is a national legal nonprofit fighting to save lives, protect our climate, and strengthen our economy through the shift to zero emissions. Visit us at earthjustice.org.
The Milwaukee Symphony Orchestra has document imaging technology from James Imaging Systems. Director of Ticket Operations and Group Sales, Luther Gray.
James Imaging has been a wonderful partnership with the Milwaukee Symphony and just great to work with.
In what ways?
If an issue does arise, they're very prompt, polite, and professional. It makes me feel empowered because I find it very easy to resolve something.
Luther James Imaging Systems is a local business technology company that stands with their clients over the long term.
Yes, before, during, and after the sale, James Imaging is there, and they are making sure you get the full value in life of every product that you have with them.
Luther, any advice for others looking for a long-term business technology partnership?
I would tell them that James Imaging is the way to go.
Start your business technology partnership with James Imaging Systems today. It's easy to do. Call 262-781-7700 or visit jamesimaging.com. James Imaging Systems, your local business technology partner.
Ready to tackle your home improvement project this fall? Exterior Pros and Baths is here to help you score big with quality home exterior and shower upgrades. As a 5-time President's Club Award winner, Exterior Pros is not playing around. With flexible financing, it's never been easier to invest in your home without breaking the bank. Get started today and save $2,000. Visit extpros.com or call 262-800-4274. That's 262-800-4274. Trust the pros and kick off your home transformation today.
Sarah, do you know what Monica has cooked up for Sweetest Day?
Here she comes. Let's ask her.
Monica, we were wondering what you've cooked up for Sweetest Day.
Imagine a pendant with the classic perfect Valentine's heart, the kind a grade school boy would draw for his girlfriend.
Okay, so what makes it special?
The heart is made of bright cherry red ceramic, and it's surrounded by 18 tiny little newborn diamonds.
Ceramic?
18 diamonds?
Yeah, cherry red ceramic with 18 newborn diamonds, and it's only $128.
I don't know how many of those we made, but we didn't make enough. What else have we got?
A long stem American Beauty rose, 100% natural.
Why would someone come to Kessler's for that?
Because our full-size American Beauty roses are preserved forever under a shimmering layer of pure 24-karat gold.
Kessler's gold roses are back!
And they're just $99 for Sweetest Day.
For the location of the Kesslers nearest you, visit KesslersDiamonds.com.
This is Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
He sounds like the Beatles.
What? Anyone? This is a new one on me.
Listen to
I
his
don't
interview,
know.
the way he talks. He sounds like Paul McCartney. Ringo farted and it was horrible. It was absolutely horrible.
On 94.5 ESPN.
Jordan Love is tied for second in the NFL for touchdown passes in the league, despite missing those 2 games due to injury. And if you're wondering how Jordan Love stacks up against some of the other starts for Packers quarterbacks, his 12 touchdown passes in his first 4 games this season tie Aaron Rodgers in 2011 and Favre in 96 for second most by a Packers player in their first 4 games. Only Aaron Rodgers with 13 in 2020 tops that. We are thrilled now to have Mark Chmura joining the show. Good morning, Chewy. You are in Florida. I'm glad that we got all of the connections working. Your reaction to yesterday's 34-13 win over the Cardinals?
Complete win. Impressive. Do I need a little bit of cloud, though? even though Johnny Clouds is in here.
Johnny Braincloud.
I mean, Arizona's a bad team, and this is what they should do to bad teams. Not taking away from the victory one bit, but this is what they got to. If you're, in Lambeau Field, you should be a bully, step on their throat, and it's exactly what they did. So it was a great win. Great win.
So
I was a little concerned, Jen, on Friday, and I think I asked Jason if they're looking past this game to Houston, because this is going to be an unbelievable game, I think. And there were no signs of it. I think they went in there, did work. There was a distraction, as we all know, earlier in the week with Dobbs, but that seemed to play itself out, and just a good win across the board.
I'm so glad that you brought that up. Obviously, Romeo Dobbs suspended for the game previous week for skipping 2 days of practice and meetings, but he had 2 touchdowns, 4 targets, though. And I don't know, and I think, Josh, you can help me clarify this. I had heard that maybe they were trying to dispel the rumor or the fact, whether it is a fact or not, I'm not sure, that his targets had something to do with it. And then Bill Huber had to come out and say he stood by his reporting. Like, there was this whole thing where somebody was trying to discredit that information that was out there, that part of Romeo Dobbs' discontent was tied to the number of targets he had been getting the first few weeks of the season.
That was Romeo himself when he had that press, when he spoke to the media on Friday. It was a winding, kind of strange interaction between him and the media. There were some contradictions within it, but it made it seem like he tried to make it seem that it wasn't his role that was the issue.
Yeah, because we tried to wonder if, his targets were only a few off of the leader in targets for the Green Bay Packers. So that just didn't make a lot of sense. I was worried that they were going to try to force the ball to him, that Jordan was going to try to show him just how much he's a part of the offense, just how big a role he has on the team, and force it to him, but they didn't. They picked their spots, and they happened to be a few very good spots with Romeo finding the end zone twice. It feels like this offense is complete right now. I know you like to look at box scores and kind of see how it all shakes out. When you check out the box score of yesterday's game and you look at, running plays and passing plays, did you feel like they called a pretty good one balance-wise?
No, they did. And the concern was, maybe, like you said, to force the ball to Dobbs. But if you look, there's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 9 guys caught balls. That's a dangerous offense. The thing with Romeo, and I don't know if you guys noticed this, he even seemed very subdued after he showed a little more energy after the second touchdown, but after the first one, for a guy that's trying to get back in the good graces of the fans and the teammates and all that, I thought there'd be a little more excitement. Now, listening to Jason, and I played with a handful of guys, they're just different guys, different dudes, But with that, everyone has to understand their role on this team, And you can't play for the stats in the money if you want to be successful here, because that's what happened. What happened 2 weeks ago with him. I don't believe it from that standpoint that the play had nothing to do with it. It might not have been all of it, but it certainly played part of a role. But he's just got to understand, you got 5 receivers or you got 4 receivers. It's not going to be you catching 110 balls and everyone else catching 60. At the end of the day, I think all their numbers are going to be fairly similar. Even Jaden Reed, who's I think their A player, I don't see any receiver running out and catching 40 more balls than the next guy in line. I think it's going to all be within 10 or 15. And he has to understand that's his role. So hopefully he has now. And we can move forward and put it in the rearview mirror.
Well, and you said a lot of things there that I want to react to, but the first is the roles on the team. We talk about what will derail this Packers squad. Well, if you start getting infighting, if you start getting guys who are going, why did he get, I want, like that is the type of stuff that can unravel a squad, that can derail Super Bowl championship aspirations. So I think that they were good to nip that in the bud. As for Jaden Reed, who has just been, so fantastic to watch. So glad he's on the green and gold. I'm a little bit nervous, guys, about having him back there for returns. Like when he becomes your number one guy, which he is quickly becoming, whether or not they want to give him that distinction or not, Chew, I feel like maybe with the new dynamic kickoff and all that stuff, maybe there's less a chance of him getting hurt. But what does this offense look like, guys, if Jaden Reed gets popped on one of those returns and has to miss significant time? Like, to me, he has reached a valuable level in the passing offense that I don't necessarily want to risk him getting hurt in other areas on the field. Am I just being an overly cautious mom over here, Chew?
No, I don't think so. I mean, Keyshawn Nixon is a hell of a returner. I don't know why they just and he had a nice return yesterday. I don't know why they just don't leave him back there. Maybe situationally, if you're stale, you need a big play, then you put Reed in. But as an everyday returner, I'm with you. I don't like that. It's unnecessary. I think because you have a guy who's really good.
I think the Packers are in a very unique situation where both those guys have the utmost confidence, and they're both going to try and return everything they seemingly possibly can. And the problem with Nixon now is his role on defense has actually grown more than people would have expected.
Yeah, definitely.
They've been lining him up as the outside corner so they can play both Bullard and Williams on the field together. So it becomes a point where both those guys have become extremely valuable to the Packers and doing what they want on both sides of the field. You would hope that Jaden Reed would be able to, I think in a situation where it's like, hey, just catch the ball and kind of fair catch. Don't take risks. Yeah. Because Nixon is your spark plug. He's your guy you throw back there and go, all right, show me what you got. But, I mean, I think the mistakes are becoming to a point where you just can't put Reed back there because this isn't his first dropped or, having issues back there. So I would imagine they're probably going to find other options there.
Chewy, the other thing we discussed in the first segment of the show was Narveson, the field goal kicker, who missed another field goal but then went back out there and made it. After the game, I think Matt LaFleur said that he made it seem like they're still confident in him because he was able to go back out there. I'm not sure if we have Matt LaFleur. I'm looking at our audio sheet right now.
We do.
Let me hear from Matt LaFleur on Narveson and then get Chewy's reaction to the miss.
Yeah, I think, absolutely. I mean, we did it later on, right? And he responded and he made his kick.
Whoa. just brimming with confidence there, Chew. Just don't hit me over the head with it. What do you think?
I don't know. I said it early on. I don't think they should have gotten rid of Joseph. I mean, veteran kicker. Does he miss some? Yeah. But I would feel a hell of a lot better with trotting him out there if the game's on the line and making a kick than a rookie. But you know what? They dug their own hole here. I don't know what they do. I have no confidence in the guy. Hopefully he can figure it out, but the way this thing is trending, he's going to lose him a game. He's going to lose him a game because Arizona stinks. Indianapolis stinks. The Ram without their two receiver stinks. Now the stretch starts. Now it starts. Houston is good, and they have a really good defense, so points coming up this next week are going to be a premium. And 3 points or 1 point is going to make a difference. I don't know what you do. I don't think there's anyone out there on the street, is there, Josh? I mean, you could bring Carlson back, but you're going to have the same issues.
The other guy that they brought in was kicking for the other team yesterday, Chad Ryland. They had to replace Matt Prater, and so he was the option they were considering. I don't know if he's any better or worse, but
you think this is adding to his angst? And I'm talking Narveson by bringing so many kickers in during the week because they know that. These kickers know who's coming in and out of the building for tryouts and things like that. Should they put that on hold for 2 weeks and just say, I don't know, maybe the kid's got too much pressure on him and he's looking over his shoulder. Let's just let him kick.
It's a great question by you, Chew. I think it is a PCS. What's a PCS? I'll tell you right after this on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. We are enjoying a Victory Monday here on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. We will talk more about that right after this.
Jen, Gabe, and Chewy are back after this on 94.5 ESPN.
Well, we're still seeing some delays. Westbound 94 heading through the stadium interchange to Mitchell Boulevard. Eastbound, we've got some backups from about 76th Street all the way to about 35th. And there's an accident at westbound 94 right about at Barker Road. It is off on the left shoulder, though. And checking the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast today. Isolated lakefront showers early, then afternoon scattered showers, breezy and cool, a high of 54. Tonight, scattered showers, water spouts are possible over the lake, a low of 40 at the lakefront, 36 inland. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 94.5 ESPN.
They say seeing is believing, and when you see what's inside at American Place Casino, you better believe you're gonna love it. Because when it comes to amazing gaming, we're a real game changer. With the most exciting of table games like blackjack, craps, and roulette, the newest slots, a sports book, restaurants, bars, and more. So if you're ready for excitement, we'll see you soon. American Place Casino. Change the game.
Must be 21 years of age or older. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, crisis counseling and referral services can be accessed by calling 1-800-GAMBLER, 1-800-426-2537.
Can't be home for the game?
Caught for the touchdown!
NFL Plus has you covered with live, local, and primetime games on the go.
What a game he's had.
On your mobile device, you can access live, local Sunday afternoon games and all the primetime action from Thursday night football, Sunday night football, and Monday night football.
Tonight was definitely their night.
Sign up for NFL Plus today at plus.nfl.com. Subscription required for NFL Plus. Terms and conditions apply.
Whether you own a local business or a global one, you're always looking for ways to position your operation to create opportunities and move on them faster. With Bank of America, you get access to experts, award-winning insights, and business solutions so powerful you'll make every move matter, locally and globally. Visit bankofamerica.com/banking for business to learn more. What would you like the power to do? Copyright 2024 Bank of America N.A.
Lowe's knows that to win the job, pros need the best prices. That's why only at Lowe's, MVP's Pro Rewards members can get a volume discount on eligible orders as low as $1,500 at the Pro Desk. That means you get the prices you need to start any job, small or large. Because Lowe's knows pros. Valid in-store only. More terms and restrictions apply. Visit Lowe's.com/terms or Pro Desk for details.
It's football season, and Vivid Seats is your ultimate destination for all the action on the gridiron. With a game-changing rewards program, plus an amazing selection of tickets, Vivid Seats ensures that every fan can catch their favorite teams and players in action. Vivid Seats has you covered with deals that cater to every football enthusiast. And all tickets come back by a 100% buyer guarantee, giving you peace of mind with every purchase. Just visit vividseats.com or download the app today. Vivid Seats, the official ticketing partner of ESPN.
Jen Lada here from Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. I have told you about the delicious pizza you can find at Proof Pizza inside St. Kate. Now there's even more to be excited about with new sandwiches on the menu. Available every day from 11 to 4, you can enjoy options like the turkey pesto, the meatball hero, the Italian hoagie, and more. Skip the same old lunch at your desk and grab a delicious sandwich from Proof instead. Order inside the restaurant or directly from the bar at St. Kate. Explore the new sandwiches and the rest of the menu at proofpizzamke.com.
You're listening to Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
And guess who didn't hit the hole? Zeke Elliott.
Ashton.
Well, I mean, yes. Yeah, right back there?
That's so true.
It was a direct shot. She took out the sniper rifle and just...
She got right up to me, took out a Glock, and just shot.
Yeah, right in the balls.
On 94.5 ESPN.
Victory Monday is brought to you by Palermo's Pizza. That's Wisconsin's hometown pizza with delicious brands like Palermo's, Connie's, Urban Pie, and Screamin' Sicilian. Palermo's has your game day covered. Find Palermo's in your local grocer's freezer. We got Jen, we got Chewy, we got Joshy. No Gabe this week as he is in Scotland working on his golf game. But we are celebrating and reflecting on a Packers victory yesterday, 34-13, the most convincing win for the Packers this season. And Chewy, before we took the break, you were talking about the Narveson situation. Nervous Narveson, as one of the broadcasters referred to him. I believe it was last week or the week before. Another missed kick, another missed field goal, and I believe it was wide right, which seems to be the trend for Narveson, and I called it a PCS. What is a PCS? It is a perfectly crummy situation, because all of the details, all of the facts of this situation are conspiring to make it harder than it actually is. Do I think kicking field goals is hard? Yes, I do. Do I think that it is being made harder in Green Bay by the circumstances? I do. Hear me out. You got a rookie guy in there, right? A lot of times confidence comes from doing. You feel confident that you can do something because you have done something. But Narveson hasn't kicked successfully, consistently in the NFL. So it's hard to manufacture that confidence when he has to step out there. Also, take into consideration the history that Green Bay has had at kicker since Mason Crosby. Chew, you mentioned bringing guys in to try to find the right guy there, find the right fit. All of those things deteriorate the young player's confidence so that when he goes out there, it is not just splitting the uprights. It is, if you don't split the uprights, you're going to get fired, and they're going to bring other guys in if you don't split the uprights. And if you don't split the uprights, then you're going to continue this narrative that Green Bay can't find all of those things are like voices inside this young kid's head, and I don't know if you can return from it. You have to be incredibly mentally strong to be able to shut out, box out, quiet all of that noise and go out there and execute. And I think that's what we're seeing from him is it's not just like mechanical errors. It's not just like your steps are wrong or a bad snap. I think it is he's in his head. What do you think?
No, I agree. And I went through it my third year where I pulled my hamstring in training camp. And I was making a push. It was me and Eddie West making a push to start that year. I wasn't active for the first game, came back, and I remember it was against, I think, Miami in County Stadium, and I popped it again. But I popped it really, really bad, and was going to be out for a handful of weeks. Well, they were starting to get frustrated with me, and they traded for Reggie Johnson, who was with the Broncos. Thank God he stunk. And they kept bringing in tight ends to work out, and I'm like, ugh, am I getting shown the door here? Fortunately, I came back, played pretty well, and that put it to rest. But that month was very stressful, extremely stressful. When you see guys, a revolving door of tight ends coming in to replace you, so there is pressure. I wonder if, because they would never allow anyone on the field, because our grounds crew at Lambeau was so good. They were great. But they would never let anyone on the field. I would bring that kid on the field and say, you're practicing here. You ain't practicing at the Hudson Center. You are practicing where we play games, get the lay of the land, get some confidence, and go from there. I wonder if they would do that.
Yeah, it's not a bad idea.
Doesn't it seem logical to do that?
Well, you're trying to eliminate all of the variables that would contribute to you missing. And practicing where you will play, it feels like, would make you more familiar with that space. Right, Joshy?
Yeah, Mason talked about it a lot. The way the wind operates in Lambeau Field with the way they've closed it off, like it will be coming in from one direction and then change in the stadium and be going a different one. So he said basically like it's very unique to kick in Lambeau Field because the way the wind patterns are unconventional. Like if you look at each end zone, the flags might be pointing different directions.
Yeah. But with this kid, Joshy, I'm going and saying, don't give two craps about kick the thing down the middle, and I'll look at the thing and say, okay, it was the wind. We'll deal with the wind later.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
We'll deal with the wind later.
At this point, you have to try everything with him. You clearly have staked your season on him being the kicker.
Yeah.
So all options are on the table.
Have they, though? Because you mentioned Chad Ryland when we were talking about this in an earlier segment. He went 2 for 2 yesterday. His long was 40 for the Arizona Cardinals, but he is just a Band-Aid right now as they will get their regular guy back. So he will be back out on the street. Packers had him in for a workout. You got to wonder if they watched that and said, in a tough situation, the Cardinals needed points like crazy. Guy was able to make his kicks. Maybe he showed him something in that game, and you can bring him in again and make him a legitimate competitor for Narveson. Now, that's not going to help Narveson's confidence. That's not going to help him get better at it. But you are talking about right now, Chew, the most competitive division in all of the NFL. The NFC North has all of these top teams. I pulled up the NFC standings. You got the Vikings at number 1. You got the Lions at number 5. You got the Green Bay Packers at number 7. And right behind them are the Chicago Bears at number 8. That's in the NFC picture. You cannot afford to have a liability at the kicker position as you head into these tough games. We talked about having the Texans next. You mentioned that, Chew. And playing all of these division games. Because right now the Vikings are in the catbird seat, right? You have to beat the Vikings the next time you face them. God forbid, the kicker is the reason why you don't get that victory. God forbid. Because then it will look like you had all of that information, Chew. To quote Jen on a show earlier, I guess it was last week, what did you expect? You had all the information. You knew how this was going to go, and you stood pat. You didn't change anything.
Let me float this out there, because it'll be a shame, because they're a Super Bowl caliber team, and it'd be a shame if the kicking game derailed them from that. What if you called a crap whose season's over with? Carolina, Arizona, Tennessee. Would you offer them a 4th-round pick for their kicker? You know, these teams that have to compile draft picks because their roster stinks and they got to build. Would you give a 4th round for the kicker in Carolina?
First of all, I love this idea because this is straight up fantasy football league stuff, right? Like, I have a chance to win. Your team is out of it. Give me your quarterback who isn't going to be able to do a lick of good sitting on your bench or lick of good sitting on your roster, and let me take him. Now, in fantasy football, they call that conspiring, don't they, Joshy? There's a conspiring that is happening between two owners in that situation?
Yes, but this seems fair. There's no, hey, we can get an asset for a kicker.
Hey, you stink. Give me your kicker. Is there a kicker out there that you got your eye on?
No, but there's got to be the Raiders. I know nothing. I know their season's over with. I'm just looking at teams who are done after week 6. I mean, I'm taking a 4th-round pick for my good kicker because we stink. You know, 4th-round pick is a pretty valuable pick.
You give him Narveson too? You just throw it in there.
Yeah.
Because to be perfectly honest with you, as I mentioned, it's a PCS. It's a perfectly crummy situation. If Narveson goes somewhere else, Chew, where there is no pressure because the team stinks around him and he can work on his craft and he can build up his confidence by making kicks and making kicks and making kicks with less pressure around him, he could turn out to be a really good dude. He could turn out to be an asset for a team long term. But right now, with what the Packers have riding on this season, it does feel like a liability.
We don't have time. I'm sorry, we don't have time because let's just say they lose this week and Minnesota, they're 3 behind. They're actually 4 behind because Minnesota already beat them. Correct, Josh?
Sorry, I was typing out a tweet. Who was the question?
I'm saying you don't have time to lose. If they lose this week and Minnesota wins, you're 4 behind Minnesota because right now I know they play them again, but they would lose the tiebreaker if they had the exact same
I believe
record at the end of the year. So we don't have time. Yes, Jen, he could turn out to be an all-pro kicker. Great. We don't have time. We don't have time.
But again, that goes back to
not with a team like this.
A product of the circumstances. And that's why I said it's a perfectly crappy situation because Packers are a really good team. They don't have time for a reclamation project. They don't have time for that learning curve that Narveson seems to be on right now. And again, you can point to different things in different games. You guys mentioned the wind. Yesterday it rained all day, right? The field was wet. We saw some guys slipping. Obviously, we talked about the interception for Jordan Love. That was obviously a slip. But the problem with that as a reason for an explanation for Narveson's issue was that Ryland was perfect. Ryland on the other side, same conditions, same field, and he has been almost perfect on the season. in the time he has been filling in the time he has been working for Arizona Chew. And that's why I think like they could look at that and go, we picked the wrong guy.
But I don't think they want to play that game. I don't think they want to play that game because when their kicker's back, they're going to release him. You want to pick him up and, well, here we go again. Who the hell knows, You know where there's a lot of pressure? A 45-yarder to win the game. You feel confident in this guy making a 45-yarder on the road, hostile environment to make the kick?
No,
I don't.
Not right now. And I will tell you, yesterday was as good as it's going to get. Packers dominated that game.
Yeah.
Right? Like, so a miss technically doesn't hurt you because you're in control. So the pressure is lessened. There should have been less pressure. Now, again, do we talk about the noise? Do we talk about the narrative? Do we talk about all of the things that are swirling around Narveson? Yes. But eliminate that. Eliminate, oh, God, I got to make this kick because we're reeling right now and we need to seize some momentum. When we need to start getting things going our way. There was none of that. Packers were in control. So, yes,
yeah, but
it is troubling.
And then, Jen, look 2 months down the road. You think it's going to be easier to kick in Lambeau when that you're kicking a rock? No, it gets tougher. So, I mean, I think they should be proactive. You know what? I'm not floating that out there. I'm saying they should do that. Give up a 4th-round pick gather up all your crappy teams and take the best one and say, here's a 4th-rounder. You're going to need it in April. You're going to wish you did this deal in April.
I imagine, Joshy, that is something that you are drafting for the Jen, Gabe, and Chewy Twitter account as we speak.
Already out there.
What do we got?
Would you give up a 4th-round pick for one of the bad team's kickers? And I listed Panthers, Titans.
Patriots.
Uh-huh.
Browns. Yes, great idea.
How low would you go?
No, not draft picks.
How low would you go?
You mean
3rd?
At 3rd, I want.
I guess you're saying how high, right? Like I say, you're saying
low
because
the
number is lower,
yes.
but on the draft board it's higher.
Classic
so how high would you? Yeah, one click above dumb. We know.
If you could, and I saw somebody post this. I don't know who it was, and I wish I could credit them. But a 2nd-round pick for like a good kicker, I'd think about it.
Totally worth it, right?
Like a good young kicker who is reliable, like the Cowboys. Where are they going? I don't see Jerry Jones parting ways with his kicker by any means, but like one of those top-flight kickers who's like a decade, yeah, why not?
How much are we missing Mason Crosby right now?
A lot.
Yeah, no kidding.
Very.
Yeah.
Well, Mason Crosby from 8 years ago versus 3.
Wait, is Mason Crosby from 3 years ago better than the rookie kicker they got?
I would probably take him.
Yes, more consistent. Didn't have enough leg. He couldn't really make it into the end zone on kickoffs, but he made his field goals. That he did.
800-990-3776. Chewy is suggesting trading a 4th-round pick for one of the kickers on a bad team. The Titans, the Patriots, the Browns, and the Panthers come to mind. We roll on a Victory Monday here on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy right after this.
Never miss out on a second of the show. Find Jen, Gabe, and Chewy on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your podcasts with Wisconsin On Demand. Sponsored by Celsius Essential Energy Drink.
The Jen, Gabe, and Chewy podcast is sponsored by Celsius Energy Drink, and I am here to tell you it makes a huge difference in my mornings. With a unique blend of essential energy and key vitamins, Celsius is your partner to an active lifestyle. My favorite, the Peach Vibe. Learn more at Celsius.com and pick up Celsius Energy Drinks today.
The 23rd annual A Novel event is coming. Sharp Literacy's yearly fundraiser will happen on October 30th from 5 to 8 p.m. at the Pfister Hotel. The program will feature a presentation with Code Baby CEO Nori Daroga and elementary students, dinner and a voice auction. Funds raised at A Novel event will support the delivery of Sharp STEAM-based education programs to thousands of K-3 through 5th graders and educators across the Milwaukee, Waukesha, and Racine areas. Find tickets to October 30th's A Novel event at sharpliteracy.org.
Great game. You got into the end zone again and again. How'd it feel?
Awesome. Like getting a new iPhone again and again. I just got the new iPhone 16 Pro today.
Really?
Yeah. And with AT&T Next Up Anytime, I can upgrade early every year.
Very nice.
Feel like an MVP again. Learn how to get the new iPhone 16 Pro on us and the latest iPhone every year with AT&T Next Up Anytime. AT&T. Connecting changes everything. Offer subject to change. Additional fees, terms, and restrictions apply. $0 offer may not be available on future iPhones. Next Up Anytime feature may be discontinued at any time. See att.com/iPhone for details.
This college football moment is brought to you by ServPro.
In 2021, LSU finished with a disappointing 6-7 record. Luckily for them, a new head coach in Chip Kelly and a quarterback from Arizona State, Jaden Daniels, arrived in Baton Rouge. They lead LSU to the 2022 SEC Championship game and defeated Purdue in the Citrus Bowl to finish 10-4. Kelly and Daniels made that 2021 season like it never even happened.
ServPro, like it never even happened.
It's football season, and Vivid Seats is your ultimate destination for all the action on the gridiron. With a game-changing rewards program plus an amazing selection of tickets, Vivid Seats ensures that every fan can catch their favorite teams and players in action. Vivid Seats has you covered with deals that cater to every football enthusiast, and all tickets come back by a 100% buyer guarantee, giving you peace of mind with every purchase. Just visit vividseats.com or download the app today. Vivid Seats, the official ticketing partner of ESPN.
At the Home Depot, we know Saturdays are for college football. That's why we have everything you need to never miss a play. Like North America's #1 home fire safety brand, Kidde. Because on a day full of football sounds you love, like fight songs, roaring crowds, and your favorite commentators...
like me, Kirk Herbstreit.
The last sound you want to hear is... Defend your game time with Kidde and the Home Depot. How doers get more done. Based on total household installations as of December 2023.
Cousins Subs is spicing things up this fall with a new sub and a delicious shake. The Chipotle Cheesesteak Sub with either grilled-to-order chicken or steak features pepper jack cheese, sautéed green peppers and onions, jalapenos, and Chipotle ranch dressing. And that's not all. Pair your Chipotle Cheesesteak with a new pumpkin pie shake and your taste buds will fall in love. Order in-store, online, or via the mobile app. Cousins Subs. We believe in better.
At IKEA, we know the kitchen is the heart of your home. It's where family gathers after a busy day and where special moments with friends unfold. IKEA can help you turn that heart into a dream space you've always wanted. With endless styles, colors, and features, IKEA's lineup offers countless kitchen possibilities. And now, through October 29th, enjoy 10% off kitchen and appliance purchases of $5,000 or more. Save today on cabinets, countertops, appliances, and yes, even the kitchen sink. Visit IKEA Oak Creek or IKEA.com/US to start building your dream kitchen today.
A standout performance.
Love to the end zone. Watson spins his way for the touchdown.
A player who energized the team.
He goes to the air. It's intercepted. Jair Alexander high-stepping for 6.
It's time for the current electric superhero MVP of the game on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
Put it in the air this time. It is through there to Wicks and a touchdown.
Whether it's as small as a switch repair or as big as a whole home rewiring or even a generator to keep your lights on, call the superheroes from Current Electric. Go to callcurrent.com.
On 3rd and 4, here comes the blitz. Gardeck providing the pressure. Love wafts it up. Oh, what an adjustment! Romeo Doubs! The 20-yard touchdown!
Yeah, Romeo Doubs is the big player this weekend. 4 targets, 3 receptions, 2 of those touchdowns, and most importantly, hopefully, turning the page on some of the drama and the situation that he and the team were dealing with headed into this week. Speaking of drama, Joshy, 8-player parlay, huh? Yeah. 8-player parlay this weekend. Now, Chewy, that means that Joshy bet on 8 players on 1 ticket to score touchdowns this weekend. And Joshy, how did it go?
I lost. And I lost in devastating fashion.
Tell us.
1 player?
It was 8 players to score touchdowns. So some of them were plus odds, some of them were negative odds. The bet was $5 to win $1,354. Oh. I successfully hit J.K. Dobbins, Bucky Irving, A.J. Brown, Derrick Henry, Tank Dell, David Montgomery, and Tyrone Tracy. Now, there's some big names in there, but the names like Tyrone Tracy and Tank Dell and Bucky Irving, those aren't guarantees.
Right. And then?
Late afternoon game slate. George Pickens was my other pick.
Seems like a likely touchdown scorer.
Yes, he caught a deep pass. It was about 30 yards through the air. Caught it at the 1-yard line. So I was like, hey, usually we see teams do this a lot. You get us down here, you get the points. They run a pass play to him. Justin Fields, as we know, not the most accurate quarterback.
Ooh.
He throws him. They design a play specifically for George Pickens. He gets the pass and drops it.
You said it was late in the game, so like you're running out of time for him to find the end zone again, or for the first time.
And there was a lot of points scored by the Pittsburgh Steelers in this one, and he was targeted a couple times when it was getting in that red zone area. There was a defender there. The throw could have been better, but if you're a guy of George Pickens' level and acclaim, that's a catch that, has to be made. The thing is, it wasn't that important for the game. But to know they were going to your guy to get there, the ball touched his hands and then fell to the ground. I let out a scream. The dog came running from across the house and started jumping.
and listen, I would ask you to recreate it, but I'm guessing it's one of those sounds that can only be made under those circumstances.
I don't know if I've ever made a sound similar to that, because I don't know if I've ever had an 8-leg parlay that was going to pay out $1,354. It just cost me $5.
This is the Schertenfarter show, so I'm going to laugh.
Believe me, I was then rooting against, because Tyrone Tracy was in the late game, obviously. He scored a rushing touchdown I was rooting against him, and I have him on fantasy teams and started him, because I didn't want to be in a place where that dropped touchdown would have cost me $1,354.
But instead, you did win something, right? It wasn't all for naught. You bet $5, and you did win
$28.
Womp, womp, womp.
That makes it even worse.
It is nice to at least have something, because nothing's worse than like doing a perfect bet and having. But believe me, if it was $100, but $28. When I saw that hit the account, it was like, whoop-de-doo.
Oh, jeez. I'm so sorry, bud. You think you'll keep doing these, like, multiple player parlays? You like these touchdown parlays?
I've been trying to hem and haw on this. Is this my message to get out? Stop doing it. It's too heartbreaking. Or are they telling me, you're seeing the board clearly, you're onto something here, one of these is bound to hit?
This is the classic gambler's peril.
This is the gambler's dilemma.
So, did you pick the players, Josh?
Yes, I handpicked all of them. I went through all the games and handpicked guys in situations I thought were primed to score a touchdown. Now, for the past few weeks, I've done something similar. I've tried different methods, different amounts. This one was obviously the closest. I don't know if anyone really in the NFL was closer. And the problem is, and this is with everything of these, there was probably 3 other guys I liked, because I had another one that included different players. And of course, all those other players also hit. It was just this combination of the players I liked, because I liked about 12 of them. The 8 I put together in this one just weren't the right 8. There was about 4 other players throughout the day who also all scored touchdowns. Because I missed another one. I don't know if you saw the follow-up tweet to that one. I did 7 players to score a touchdown, and Caleb Williams over 4.5 rush attempts. All 6 of the players scored touchdowns. Caleb Williams rushed 4 times.
Oh, God.
Do you have a problem?
No, because
do you have a problem?
These are $5 bets, so it's it's a beer. That's what I'm betting on here. So it's not like I'm consuming hundreds of dollars here. It's $5 long shots, and I know that going into it. That's what they are. But it's fun to have interest in all the games.
Yeah, for whatever it's worth, this weekend, the only team that let me down was Maryland, who absolutely got throttled by Northwestern. Who saw that one coming? But I did have Maryland as my pick in that game. Chewy, we had a lot of reaction rolling in before we head to break here at the top of the hour. But Ryan from McGuanago wants to know if you have any idea who the Raiders kicker is.
Sebastian Janikowski.
At one time it was, yes.
He retired?
Yeah, he's not kicking anymore. It is Daniel Carlson. You familiar with the Carlson name?
Oh, yes. But he's good, though, right?
Yes. He was famously with the Vikings, and they let him go because he missed a lot of bad kicks and cost them games. Then he went to Las Vegas, which was then Oakland at the time, and was reclaimed by Rich Bisaccia. And he has become one of the most consistent kickers in the NFL.
There it is.
So 4th-round pick. Would you give him up a 4th-round pick?
For Anders' brother?
I think I would.
Yeah.
Got some crazy sort of love triangle thing happening here that I'm not sure I want to get into. We'll take a break here on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. Roll on for the second hour of the show right after this.
Jen, Gabe, and Chewy continues next on 94.5 ESPN.
Westbound 94 got a little bit of a backup from about 25th Street all the way to Mitchell Boulevard. Then we've got that accident at Barker Road off on the left shoulder. Eastbound 894 is going to be really slow out of the Hale interchange all the way to 60th Street, where you will find an accident that is blocking the right lane. So be careful with that one. The westbound side is a little bit tight from 27th Street out to 60th Street as well. Traffic is brought to you by Fifth Third Bank, custom solutions built around your goals. Member FDIC. And check out the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast today. Isolated lakefront showers early, and then afternoon scattered showers, breezy and cool, a high of 54. Tonight, scattered showers, waterspouts possible over the lake, a low of 40 at the lakefront, 36 inland. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 94.5 ESPN.
Experience, knowledge, results. That's what really matters when you need help after a serious truck accident. You'll need a lawyer experienced in fighting and winning for people just like you. Gruber Law Offices has the resources, strong track record of success, and a team of experienced lawyers to take care of your needs. We've successfully helped people injured in big truck accidents for more than 35 years. Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
For your next night out, make Aria, the acclaimed restaurant inside St. Kate the Arts Hotel, your dinner destination. Aria, nestled on the second floor of St. Kate, is an artful dining experience that captivates with its culinary creativity. Delighting in its offering of artisanal American cuisine, the restaurant transcends tradition and leans into the realm of playful and inventive flavors. Come and experience the magic of Aria, where every bite is a work of culinary artistry. Learn more and make reservations at aria@stkate.com.
Marquette Hall of Famer Tony Smith here. You're listening to the home of Marquette basketball. 94.5 ESPN is WKTI and WKTI HD Milwaukee.
A locally owned Good Karma brand station. Showtime. The right way to start your day. This is Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
Love to throw again. To the goal line. Touchdown, Jaden Reed. 4-man rush. Love throws towards the sideline. Diving in, it's Romeo Doubs with a touchdown.
This is Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
Murray keeps. Murray going nowhere. Evan Williams stayed home, and he gets the tackle for loss. It almost looks like you're posting somebody up. Love looking deep on first down. He's got a man out there. Wide open Watson for a Packer touchdown. First and 10. Murray open. It's Dortch at the 30, inside the 25. The ball pops out, loose on the turf at the 22-yard line. Dortch was fighting for an extra yard. Instead, he gives it up. Jair Alexander comes up with the football, and the Cardinals turn it over again.
This is Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
On 3rd and 4, here comes the blitz. Gardeck providing the pressure. Love lofts it up. Oh, what an adjustment! Romeo Doubs! The 20-yard touchdown!
This is Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. Now live from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All studios with Gabe Neitzel and Mark Chmura. Here's Jen Lada.
That sound means it is a Victory Monday here on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy, brought to you by Palermo's Pizza, Wisconsin's hometown pizza, with delicious brands like Palermo's, Connie's, Urban Pie, and Screamin' Sicilian. Palermo's has your game day covered. Find Palermo's in your local grocer's freezer. We are celebrating a victory this morning, 34-13, Packers dominating. Absolutely a convincing win, absolutely a complete win. Save that field goal miss. Wire to wire against the Cardinals yesterday. I was nervous about Kyler Murray's ability to run. I was nervous about his ability to get out and make the Packers pay, but that did not happen. Packers doing a lot of things really well. And Chew, one of the things we had talked about with Jordan Love, not so much this year because he gets injured, he misses the games, Willis is in, Jordan comes back, he looks a little rusty as he gets his legs under him. But we worried about Jordan Love's accuracy, and especially with the deep ball. And it feels like, and I know there haven't been a ton of them, but there is a sample size to consider. Love now has 5 touchdown passes on throws at least 15 yards downfield after having 8 total in all of last season. He has thrown at least 1 in each of his starts this season. Are you more confident in Jordan's ability to accurately throw down the field this season than you were last year?
Yeah, probably a little bit. I mean, he's still a little inaccurate at times. But I think he has improved the deep ball, and that's something they're going to need. I mean, it's nice to see him getting Watson involved because, through the first X amount of games, he hasn't really been in them that involved. So it's another card in the deck that they can use. No, he's okay. He's just. I'm trying to expect Aaron Rodgers. I don't know if we'll ever get there because Aaron was so accurate. But he's fine. He's fine. Is he playing great? I don't think so. Will he get there? Yeah, I think there's a good chance. I still think there's some rust.
Not playing great. What didn't you like about yesterday? Were there a couple of... Look, we had talked the week before about how the decision-making might have been an issue, right? And we talked about how the irony of not loving the decision-making on the touchdown to... Was it a touchdown, or did he just find the goal line on that Jaden Reed 50-plus yarder last week, Joshie?
Goal line.
Goal line, right. But we were like, don't love the decision-making as there were 3 defenders in the area, and it could have easily been a pick. But Jaden comes down with the ball, and then it's like, all right, well, that worked out.
Yeah. That's what drives me nuts about these commentators. And there was one yesterday where I don't know what the hell the defensive back was doing. I forget which. It was is the one where he threw off his back foot, kind of threw it up. The DB went flying by him. That's not a great throw, people. In the week before, the one to Jaden Reed, remember the long ball? They said that's not a great throw. There were 3 people in the area. If you had a defender with any kind of talent, that's picked. So those kind of give me a little bit of concern. Do you guys agree? I think it was that.
I like that he's aggressive at times. We saw that throw to Dobbs. That's the type of throw where you're trusting your guy one-on-one to beat his man.
Yeah.
That I can live with, and I'll take those, especially in those situations where it's like you can put your throat on a team, your foot on the team's throat right there. Those plays I like. The ones where it's, and we've seen it a couple times, where it's just like throwing into crowds, kind of wild man throws. That stuff can't happen. But I was impressed with his play. The fact that he's second in the league in touchdown passes with having missed 2 games, like, that's a guy who is doing things to put his team in a winning position more often than not. It's just, can you take off those mistakes? Can you be better at it? And I don't need you to be Brett Favre, but I also don't want you to be conservative Kirk Cousins / Aaron Rodgers at times.
So the best
where does he rank across the board? Where does he rank across the board?
What
though?
stats?
When you put completion percentage, QBR, all this stuff. Is he still a top 10 quarterback?
My guess is yes. I'm not looking at the stats right now, Josh. It looks like he's efforting to find out. But my guess would be, with as well as he has been playing, and as well as he played yesterday, he seems to be finding his stride shoe. This Jordan Love that we have seen over the last 2 weeks is so much closer to the end of the season Jordan Love that we saw. So that to me feels like a win. The fact that we thought maybe it would take him a little bit more time to come back from the knee injury, the fact that we thought let him shake off the rust, let him, we talked about the Romeo Dobbs incident, how was that going to affect chemistry and timing and all, not timing so much, but more of like is he going to force it to him? How much is he going to be involved in the offense and all of those questions? The fact that he threw an interception yesterday, and it was because Bo Melton slipped, Chew. Like, that was he's on one. He's dialed in. He's sharp. And that gave me confidence.
Okay. But they played nobody so far. I mean, the Rams are terrible. The Cardinals are terrible. Like I said, I think I said it Friday, Jen, and you weren't here. I will know after the 49er game, which is 5 games away, where this team is at.
Oh, that feels like forever.
Cardinals are
11 games in?
Well, they're going to play 3 good teams. They're going to play the Texans, who's got a top 5 defense. They're going to play the Lions. Now they're missing Hutchinson because he broke his tibia yesterday, and that's going to hurt.
That is going to hurt them for sure.
Yeah. But they're still pretty good.
Oh, yeah, they're really good. I mean, how many points did they put up yesterday? 40-plus on the Dallas Cowboys. Now, do we think the Cowboys are a good team? I'd be interested in this, too, and I don't want to get too far off on an off-ramp here, but rank for me right now the teams in the NFC. You got to have the Vikings up there, right? Because they're the undefeated team in the conference. But after that, it's sort of a mixed bag, isn't it?
This is a weird year. Because we're so used to, the 49ers dominating.
What are they, 3-3 right now?
The Eagles being solid. But, I mean, this is all about, after 6 games, are you ready to put some of these teams as elite? Like, I'm not ready to put Minnesota as elite yet, even though they're undefeated. There's something in my gut that says not yet.
But they're going to make the playoffs, too, right? Like at 5-0.
Yeah, they are. But I don't think they're like – I think there's one elite team, and that's it. One elite team, Kansas City Chiefs. That's it. And they get bored. They get bored. But when they turn it on, they're tough. Like, where do you guys feel the Washington Commanders, who played the Ravens really tough yesterday? I mean, I'm not putting them elite, but are you putting them parallel to the Packers? I mean, they're pretty good. They're pretty good. And then you take Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay, who'd they throttle? They throttled the Saints yesterday, and we thought the Saints were pretty good to start off the season. They've fallen off.
I think the Saints have exposed themselves, haven't they? They've been exposed. I think the Saints started out 2-0 and have lost their last 4.
Yeah. So how I'm ranking the NFC, I mean, you got to put Minnesota 1. I mean, San Fran's going to be there at the end of the day.
Do
we agree
think
with
the
that?
Commanders? Yeah, probably. Although the Seahawks, I like the Seahawks. I think they could make some noise as the season rolls on. Do you think that the Commanders, who are 4-2, will win that division? Do you think they'll win the East?
It's all going to rely on Philadelphia, who didn't look great against Cleveland. And I mean, the fans are starting to boo Sirianni after a win. I mean, it is Philadelphia, but I don't know how that's going to affect them. Is that going to get in Sirianni's head? Because he's a coach that makes mistakes.
He was taunting.
So how I'm ranking them, this is how I'm ranking them. I'm going Detroit. I'm going Minnesota. And then I'm Commanders, I'm Packers, I'm 49ers, I'm Tampa Bay. Atlanta's got to show me one more big game.
You think the Bucs win the South?
And then there's la 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 la.
Don't sleep on
I think
the
that's
Falcons.
going to come down to the end of the season because you never sleep on the Falcons. Never.
I love that you're committed to the bit.
All right, I'll give you another team. And I watched a lot of their game yesterday. Where are you putting the Bears? Bears are in my rearview mirror. Bears are creeping towards the side view mirror. Not because I think they're elite or they're parallel with the Packers. It's just their schedule is so soft that I don't think they're going to lose a lot of games. And to me right now, it's like, is there going to be 3 teams? Is there any way 4 teams could come out of the NFC North?
No, there's not enough wild card spots.
3? What are the chances on 3?
3 happens.
3.
Like this, I hate to say it. And I'm going to say it anyways because you know me. This game on Sunday is a must-win game.
Just to kind of hold serve in the division?
Yeah, I mean, if you fall with what would be 4 behind Minnesota, they're gone. They're gone. So Detroit and Minnesota will be in the playoffs.
We have asked this before. I know that, Josh, you've weighed in on this. And most fans prefer to be the juggernaut, the top dog, and have a bunch of crappy teams sort of just existing as opposed to competing. I don't think that's the case this year, just based on what we're seeing early on in the division. And maybe Packers fans will be like, I liked it better the old way. I liked it better when the Lions were hapless and the Bears were clueless and the Vikings were, well, rivals, but still not always really great. This year, with 5-0, 4-1, 4-2, 4-2, it's going to be a tough year. And I think you're right, Chew. That is going to make every other game, to say nothing of the division games, every other game that much more important. 800-990-3776. Do you think this week against the Texans is a must-win like Chewy does? If you're on the line, stay on the line. We have lots of reaction rolling in from folks. Chef Ed saying Jordan did a great Oprah impression. You get a touchdown. You get a touchdown. And you get a touchdown. On Sunday against the Cardinals. We'll take a break, roll on right after this. Accutrans is a veteran-owned business dedicated to providing unmatched corporate, personal, and event-related transportation that you will use again and again. I know Accutrans was driving folks up to the big game yesterday. Saw a lot of Accutrans people on the road. From corporate travel to weddings and group events like the big game, Accutrans Group caters to every occasion. Booking is easy, safe, and dependable. Just visit their website, accutransgroup.com. to get a quote or book your reservation today. That is accutransgroup.com for reliable and safe transportation wherever you need to go.
More Jen, Gabe, and Chewy coming up on 94.5 ESPN.
Westbound 94 got a little bit of a backup from about 25th Street all the way to Mitchell Boulevard. Then we've got that accident at Barker Road off on the left shoulder. Eastbound 894 is going to be really slow out of the Hale interchange all the way to 60th Street, where you will find an accident that is blocking the right lane. So be careful with that one. The westbound side is a little bit tight from 27th Street out to 60th Street as well. Traffic is brought to you by Fifth Third Bank, custom solutions built around your goals. Member FDIC. And check out the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast today. Isolated lakefront showers early, and then afternoon scattered showers, breezy and cool, a high of 54. Tonight, scattered showers, waterspouts possible over the lake, a low of 40 at the lakefront, 36 inland. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 94.5 ESPN.
The Homer Hour with special guests every day from 5 to 6.
You still had a cigarette lighter in there?
No, we should all be dead.
An ashtray.
They have the station wagons where the people in the back were facing the other direction.
The Homer Hour with Homer.
The Packers got more money than God, so there's in the NFL there's no shortage. Yes, we need fundamentally in the NFL, anything Detroit does, you just assume you can do it better.
Weekdays from 5 to 6, right here on 94.5 ESPN and streaming live on YouTube.
Hey Milwaukee sports fans, it's Brad Nortman from Kyle Bruston Nortman. You've invested too much into that nice ride, so don't settle for a gas station car wash. Treat it to a Tsunami Express car wash. State-of-the-art wash technology, powerful free vacuums, and unlimited wash memberships. Now with 5 locations across Greater Milwaukee, Tsunami Express is your go-to spot for a flawless finish and a first-class car wash every time. Trust me, your car will thank you. Sign up for a membership online at tsunamiexpress.com and get your first wash free. Tsunami Express Car Wash. Wash, chill, repeat.
Are you looking for a reliable ride? I've got you covered. It's ESPN Milwaukee's Jen Lada. I use Accutrans Group for my private transportation needs during the college football season. Accutrans is a veteran-owned business dedicated to providing unmatched corporate, personal, and event-related transportation that you will use again and again. From corporate travel and weddings to group events, Accutrans Group caters to every occasion. Booking is easy, safe, and dependable. Visit accutransgroup.com to get a quote or to book a reservation today for reliable and safe transportation.
With a local Milwaukee team, Fifth Third Bank knows what success looks like. They've been serving businesses and individuals in the area for nearly 15 years, including a long-standing commitment to the healthcare industry. From expansion to treasury management, Fifth Third offers a full suite of financial services and solutions across the healthcare spectrum to meet the complex moments you're navigating. Fifth Third Bank, National Association, custom solutions built around your goals. Member FDIC.
Milwaukee College Prep, dedicated to closing the opportunity gap for children in Milwaukee, redefining what's educationally possible so more children can pursue their dreams. Join me, Good Karma Brand's founder CEO Craig Karmazin, and Milwaukee College Prep Thursday, October 17th, and take a stand in closing the opportunity gap for Milwaukee scholars. Your support means quality education accessible to over 2,000 scholars in Milwaukee's most challenged communities. Milwaukee College Prep is closing the opportunity gap. To learn more and purchase tickets, go to MilwaukeeCollegePrep.com and click support.
It's bird bashing season when you swoop into Potawatomi. Thursdays, you could win up to a wicked 50 grand cash in the Bird Bash Game Show. Just play with your rewards card all October for entries. All Bird Bash entries go towards a December 20th giveaway with a monstrous 300 grand in prizes. Bird Bash makes its bewitching return. Only at Potawatomi Casino Hotel, Milwaukee. Learn more at paysbig.com/birdbash. Must be 21 years old to play.
This is Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
I have told you how many times. Do not mess with electricity, Chew.
And I don't. I did. I did. But I don't.
Incident?
There was one.
Plumbing, you're going to get wet. Electricity, you're going to die.
On 94.5 ESPN.
Upping their game in a major move for all of the sports bettors out there. Now you can use your Potawatomi rewards card at most self-service kiosks and the betting counter. Bet on your favorite sports and earn rewards along the way. Now that is a winning play. Bet above the rest. Learn more at paysbig.com/sportsbook. Well, thank you for the suggestion, Potawatomi. Yes, I will travel over to your sports book and look and see at what the MVP award winners, Futures NFL, are right now. Jordan Love still plus 2,000. If he keeps up this type of play, if he's throwing 4 touchdowns per game and 228, was that 28 passing yards? 228, 258, I got those numbers written down there. I think Jordan Love could certainly be an MVP candidate. These are the guys who are on the list. Patrick Mahomes at plus 350. Lamar Jackson plus 500. CJ Stroud plus 600. Josh Allen plus 800. Brock Purdy plus 1,000. Jaden Daniels plus 1,200. Sam Darnold plus 1,200. And Jared Goff plus 1,500. Joe Burrow is tied with Jordan Love at plus 2,000 odds. I got to tell you guys, the way that Joe Burrow has played not so much him, but the way that the Bengals have played the first half of the season, the way that the Chiefs have played, even though they're winning games, the way that Patrick Mahomes has played, some of these guys, Chew, I'm willing to eliminate as possible MVP candidates. Oh, I know. You're saying, don't do that. Don't do that.
You really have to wait till after the 49ers game, Jen, because the 4 out of the next 5 games, you're playing 4 of those teams are top 10 in defense. Texans, Lions, Bears, 49ers. Those are solid Ds. So if he comes out of that, still throwing touchdowns and playing pretty well, yes. But the 49ers game is my tell. I'll know a lot about this team after that game because so far I just went through the schedules of the Bears and of the Lions and Vikings. Their wins are more impressive than Green Bay's. Kind of a lot more impressive than Green Bay's. If you look at them. Maybe not the Bears, but certainly the Lions and the Vikings. I mean, the Vikings have they beat the Niners and they beat the Texans. And I don't know what you want to call the Jets. I mean...
Garbage.
Yeah, I know, but Josh, what's the Packers' best win? Right now, what's their best
here's
win?
the thing that is hard to do because each of these teams face the teams at different points with guys healthy, not healthy, all of that. So at some point, say the Packers face the Lions and take it to them, do we then say, well, Aiden Hutchinson wasn't there, it wasn't as good of a win?
No, I won't. No.
Like, it's hard for me to contextualize week to week what matters more, and then at the end of the season, am I going to look back and be like, well, that Cardinals win was actually better than I thought it was? Or, I think a lot of these things change.
That's like Jacksonville when we were looking at the schedule. Yeah. We were like, oh, man, this stretch is going to be brutal.
Right.
There's a good chance that Doug Peterson won't even be the coach.
Yeah, very good.
My guess is he gets fired because they have back-to-back games in London. And I think regardless of whether he wins that game or loses that game, he gets canned after he gets back.
Well, and you just mentioned a really interesting thing that the Lions and the Vikings play this upcoming week in a Week 7 battle. Yeah. Vikings are coming off of the bye. Lions had that huge victory, but like you mentioned, losing one of their defensive leaders, a guy who was putting up incredible numbers early this season in Hutchinson. A lot riding on that game, obviously. But we did want to clarify, just housekeeping, under the current format, 4 teams from the same division can make the playoffs. Is it likely? No. Why? Math. Because essentially you would have to win all of your games and just kind of round robin cannibalize the division games and then have another division be so stinky. There'd have to be dominant teams, right? And the other teams are just so bad they all have losing records too, in order for 4 teams from one division to somehow get all 3 of the wild card spots. Like that's just so it's very unlikely that happens.
I think you're really going to have to eyeball the South because I think Atlanta and Tampa Bay at the end of the day are going to be double-digit winners. And when you're talking about 3 teams from the North getting in, that's what you're going to have to eyeball. But I want to ask you guys this question. Rank the North right now. Rank the North.
I think it goes Vikings, Lions, Packers, Bears.
Really?
Yes, really. What do you mean, really? How does it go for you?
Well, let me ask you this. Where are the Bears for you? In the rearview mirror, or are they creeping on the side? I mean, I know they haven't beat anyone, but it's just their schedule's kind of going to... I mean, this pains me to say. Are they going to be double-digit winners?
Possibly, but schedule, when they meet on November 17th, who's going to win that game?
Well, I can tell you this.
Tell me, brother.
Bears' defense is better than the Cardinals' defense.
And the Packers...
The Bears' defense is a lot better than the Cardinals' defense. All I'm saying is this, Jen. I don't know this team right now. I don't. It's a team that got blown out at home, and I don't care about the comeback. Okay, they were down 28-0 at one point in time in the first half. Am I right?
Yes, that factually happened.
Yes, 28-0. Okay, and then the Eagles game, granted, it's first game of the year, they lose there. It's just I cannot tell you how good they are based upon their wins.
But that's the point that Joshie is making. Like, it's hard to take the variables and the circumstances for each week, right? Like the Packers didn't have their starting quarterback for a few of those games. They ended up winning those games with Malik Willis, but it's just tough to contextualize when there's so many things that change over the course of a season. For whatever it's worth, guys, the NFL leader in point differential is the Minnesota Vikings. They're at plus 61. Then the Detroit Lions at plus 60. Then the Bears at plus 47. And then the Packers at plus 41. And that is the top 4 in the league. Every team in the NFC North has a better point differential than every other team in the league. So while you're sitting here and trying to parse and data point your way through this thing, the teams in the NFC North are scoring points. And they're scoring a lot more points than the teams they've gone up against week in and week out. We got to take a break. We got to get to Rob Domofsky. I wanted to get to Jim in Saukville, who has a question for us. Jim, we got to get to Rob Domofsky. Happy to hear from you as the show rolls on. But for now, we're going to take a break here on the show and talk to our friend Rob right after this. But guys, first, tune into Thanalis' show every week. It is presented by Gruber Law Offices. Thanasis Antetokounmpo hangs out with special guests for fun and surprising conversations. Maybe it's his live show with Giannis, a chat with Green Bay quarterback Jordan Love, getting the inside scoop on fighting with Logan Paul, or one of TA's unique guests. Find Thanalis' show on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. It is presented by Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
Jen, Gabe, and Chewy are back after this on 94.5 ESPN.
Things are slowing down a bit on westbound 94 from 35th Street out to Mitchell Boulevard. And then you've got an accident out near Barker Road on the left shoulder, being hooked up to a tow truck right now. On the eastbound side, slowing down from 84th Street through the Stadium interchange to 35th. The other heavy spot is going to be on southbound 43 from Silver Spring down to Capitol Drive. And checking the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast today, isolated lakefront showers early, then afternoon scattered showers, breezy and cool, a high of 54. Then tonight, scattered showers, water spouts possible over the lake, a low of 40 at the lakefront, 36 inland. Weather is brought to you by the Neal Group. They know how to minimize your taxes to keep more money in your pocket. Visit nealgroup.net to learn more. That's nealgroup.net. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 94.5 ESPN.
This is Jeff Johnson.
And I'm Jason Johnson.
And together, we're part of Johnson & Sons Paving.
Get your parking lot ready now for spring and avoid paying for extra repairs later on.
We'll come out to your property and walk it with you.
Potholes, damaged asphalt, damaged concrete, standing water, you name it. We'll talk to you about your options and fix it.
Plan a budget, set up an overall schedule with Johnson & Sons Paving.
It's all about doing it right the first time. Call us today to schedule a walkthrough and free estimate.
JohnsonandSonsPaving.com.
It's time to tip off a new NBA season.
And here we go.
And everyone is stepping up. Living legends and shooting stars are rising up.
Defying gravity.
Super fans, courtside fans, and scream it from the rooftop fans are revving up. With the whole basketball world going up, the only question is, who's going to make it to the top? Kia NBA tip-off begins October 22nd on ESPN, TNT, and NBA TV.
It's time for the Milwaukee Basketball Report on 94.5 ESPN. Brought to you by Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. Experience elite orthopedic care at OAW. Their skilled teams in Pewaukee, Brookfield, and Muckwonago offer tailored treatment for your needs.
The first two preseason games have seen 0 wins for the Bucks, but as we all know, preseason isn't about wins and losses. And with the regular season fast approaching next week, don't expect Doc Rivers to be holding his stars back at all for longevity's sake.
No, you are who you are, and that's what makes him great. That's what makes all these players great is they just play. I mean, those guys don't think about it because that's how they play.
The Bucks take on the Chicago Bulls tonight in preseason action at Fiserv Forum. Tip-off set for 7 o'clock.
This has been the Milwaukee Basketball Report on 94.5 ESPN. Brought to you by Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. Book your appointment today at orthowisconsin.com.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6759. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6759. That's 800-575-6759. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
You're listening to Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
Yes, that would have been much worse than what ended up happening.
Finally got the which would be worse and what would be better. Finally, we figured it out.
You can't just be showing your junk on national TV.
It would have got a lot of clicks.
On 94.5 ESPN.
We need a new intro for this year, though.
All right, we'll work on it.
Consider it done, Rob.
ESPN's #1 source for green and gold information.
Look, I would suspect that we don't see Malik Willis throw the ball down the field a whole lot, especially early, but it would not surprise me if we got back to more of the quick West Coast stuff.
Our most musically inclined and bald guest.
I was overly harsh about Gabe's golf game because I played terrible yesterday.
It's Rob Domofsky.
This better be a great segment.
On Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
We love getting the opportunity to mix it up with our friend Rob Domofsky, and it always feels a little bit better coming off of a victory. Rob, is Jordan Love firing? Good morning to you. Is Jordan Love firing on all cylinders right now? Because yesterday's performance to me was as close to the end of the season, Jordan Love, as we have seen this season from the QB.
I thought so, and I thought his health had a lot to do with it. There was a play late in the game where he was like doing the old Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers lead blocking down. I think it was an end around, and Jordan, I don't know that he actually blocked anybody, but he was attempting to block somebody downfield. And, I don't think he does that if he's not feeling great. And I think the fact that, his knees probably is close to 100% as it's been since the injury has allowed him just to play a little bit more free. I did hear what Chewy said, and I totally agree. I mean, the Cardinals stink. The teams that they've beaten, none of them. I think Indy is 3-3. I think everybody else has only 1 or 2 wins. So it's not like they've beaten anybody great, but it's sort of how it looked that you have to go off of, and I thought it looked pretty good yesterday.
Rob, is the Romeo Dobbs drama in the rear view now?
I would think so, except for, there's it's. I think it's in the rear view mirror for the most important people, and that's Romeo and the team. I do think there's still people on the outside to question what led to this, like what led to him wanting to skip those 2 days of practice, and why he didn't communicate it with the team, and maybe we'll never know, and maybe that's fine. But I do think that he's still going to face questions. Like, let's say this team goes to the playoffs and gets on a run, goes to the Super Bowl. I mean, you remember what those Super Bowl media days were like. Stuff gets dredged up from earlier in the season, and he's going to probably end up facing questions about it somewhere along the line again, because he didn't just say, hey, look, it was because of this that I didn't do this. Whether it was because he was unhappy with his role, which he claimed he wasn't, whether it was a mental health issue, which at first he said he had some things going on mentally, and then later he said it wasn't a mental health issue. So that's the only lingering thing, I think, is it from the outside, and possibly from us, there could still be some questions.
Rob Domofsky hanging out with Jen, Gabe, and Chewy this morning. All right, Rob. Chewy has suggested that the Packers trade a 4th-round pick for a kicker from a struggling team. I said this sounds like fantasy football. When you got a buddy whose team is dog crap, but yours is doing all right, but you need just like one extra piece, so you start poaching from your buddy's team. It's collusion in fantasy football, but maybe it's allowed in the NFL. Wow. Do the Packers need to go out and get a consistently good kicker?
I think the answer is yes. I don't know. Are there any kickers available in a trade for a 4th-round pick that any team would be willing to part with? I mean, it's not like baseball where teams necessarily, dump people at the trade deadline if they're not doing well. But I agree with the premise. I said it after he missed the 2 kicks. Was that against Minnesota that he missed 2 of them? Yeah, it was Minnesota. That I thought that would be the end for him, and it wasn't. I still think that this should probably be the end for him, but I don't think it probably will be. But, I mean, this is exactly what they moved on from Anders Carlson for, because he couldn't consistently make every kick game in and game out. Now, you're going to miss some kicks here and there. Like, that's just, very rarely does a guy go through the season, with only 1 or 2 misses. But it just keeps happening week after week. I mean, there were times like Mason's – the game in Detroit where Mason was terrible. Like, I mean, okay, so he had a bad game, but there were reasons to think that he bounced back, and certainly maybe he didn't, that year, but he did, the next year and for many years after that. But it's just consistently inconsistent, and I don't know how long you can live with that.
Rob, do you think Musgrave's done for the year? And do you know what he had done? Was it ligament that had to be reattached or something? Do you know what the procedure was?
I don't, which is tells me that I don't, which is why I can't tell you if he's out for the year. But the way LaFleur said it when he was asked, is there, do you think he could be back this year? He said, well, we hope so. When with LaFleur, that's usually code for unlikely.
No.
Like he has some, if he would have said, oh, yeah, we're optimistic he'll be back, that's different than I hope he'll be back.
Rob, we were talking about the strength of the NFC North right now.
Yeah.
We've talked about point differential. We obviously have talked about the records. People were asking, could 4 teams? It's a little early to be talking about 4 teams from the NFC North making the postseason. But Chewy asked us to rank the teams in the NFC North, and unfortunately, just by record and what we've seen, I have to go with the Vikings 1, then the Lions, then the Packers, then the Bears. Does your ranking right now look different than mine?
So Seth Walder, who is one of the ESPN analytics guys, he is the one I think that puts together this FPI. And don't ask me how he does it because I don't know. But he has the Lions number 1 in the entire league in the FPI. And the second team from the NFC North would be the Packers at number 5. Then he has the Vikings at number 8 overall, and the Bears are down at 13. So I don't know that I would necessarily be willing to go that far. I guess the easy way is just to list them off, how they're ranked. How the Aiden Hutchinson injury affects the Lions is I think, going to be very interesting. I think we can. I will agree that the Bears are the bottom. I just don't know that they're completely where they need to be yet offensively. The interesting thing in all this, and look, it's the first time through 6 weeks that all 4 teams in the division have had 4 wins, and that's a fact. Now, there's this to consider, though, Jen. Do you know how many division games have been played in the NFC North?
We know the one, but
and that's it.
Really?
That's the only division game played so far. Now, if you look at the NFC South, Atlanta has already played 3 division games. Tampa has played 2. New Orleans has played 3. Carolina has played 2. So, you're going to get that's why there's a 1-4 and a 2-4 and a 1-5 team in that division, because they played more division games. Unless they end up tied, that's just the way it's going to happen. So, I would highly doubt that in January, when it's all over, we're going to have 4 teams in the NFC North with winning records. I mean, I'm very, as we've talked about many times on the show, I'm terrible at math, but I would assume that the probability, just based on how many times you have to play each other, would almost make it impossible for that to happen.
Rob, what's your take on Lucas Van Ness? Is he a try-hard and that's it? I mean, production between him and Rashawn Gary are non-existent.
Yeah, it's kind of my feeling about the group as a whole. I don't understand what has changed from training camp when Lucas Van Ness was not quite as good as Rashawn Gary, but was probably the second best rusher in training camp, and I don't know what happened. It's a great mystery to me. Why they can't get to the quarterback. Now, I understand yesterday, they can use the whole, we're playing a mobile quarterback, so we're rushing a little bit differently. But I would say that from this defense, the strength of it, I thought the strength would be from the front to back. It's the other way around. I mean, there's no question that this defense is best from back to front.
So, Rob, now looking ahead, Packers take on the Texans. Chewy says it's going to be a great game. We mentioned the Vikings taking on the Lions. That'll be a great game as well, especially for division superiority. Are the Packers a legit Super Bowl contender at this point? Chewy says he wants to wait. Obviously, the Texans game will tell us a lot. The 49ers game will tell us a lot. But the way they played yesterday, and we haven't even touched on the defense with you specifically, but the takeaways continue, and they're doing things that haven't been done in forever. Does this feel like a Super Bowl team to you now after the performance, or is it, hey, don't get too high after beating up a bad team?
Oh, I think they have everything that they would need in place to be a Super Bowl team, absolutely. And, short of Luke Musgrave, they really are pretty healthy from all their starters. I mean, teams, you're going to start to lose guys at some point, just like everybody does. But, they're getting guys back right now. I mean, they were fully healthy at receiver yesterday. Now, Dontavian Wicks had the, shoulder injury, I believe, or was his ankle? I can't remember. So there's always going to be some things that pop up, but for the most part, they're pretty healthy. The quarterback's getting healthy. Jair got healthier. Christian Watson was back sooner than I think any of us thought he would be. So I 100% think they have the pieces in place to be a Super Bowl contender. Yeah, I mean, it's going to take some games against some really good teams. I mean, the Texans are 5-1. So I mean, it's going to take some games against teams like that where they win for you to be really impressed. But I think the only thing that matters, and I think we saw this last year, is that you get in and you're playing really good football at the end, and that's how you get on a run. Not unlike the 2010 Super Bowl team here. And I will say this though about, you mentioned the takeaways, Jen. The only thing that really scares me, and there's been defenses before, they've had here that were reliant on takeaways. And when you get into the playoffs, your good teams don't turn the ball over. Like, good teams aren't going to hand you the football like Arizona did yesterday. I don't know that the Packers really forced, that the last fumble for sure they didn't force. I think it was, it's a hard way to live if you're giving up yards. You can't get off the field on third down, but you're relying on takeaways. And that's the only thing right now that scares me a little bit if you're talking about, are they a Super Bowl contender? Because when you get to that time, January and February, you're just not going to get gifts like that.
Well, then
Rob, why is Jaden Reed returning? Why is Jaden Reed returning punts?
Yeah, he shouldn't be, right? I mean, he's too valuable in this offense to be doing that, and maybe we've seen the end of it. But I guess you could also say the same thing as, do you really want to risk Keyshawn Nixon back there? The only thing is Keyshawn Nixon's best attribute is that he's a returner. I mean, he's actually played better at corner than I thought he would, especially moving outside like he did the last couple weeks. But I'm with you, Chewy. I don't think I would put him out there at all.
He's Rob Domofsky. He joins us each and every Monday here on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy to talk about the green and gold, and it is always more fun on a victory Monday after a 34-13 win over the Arizona Cardinals. Rob, we appreciate you hanging out with us. Have a great one. We'll talk to you again soon.
All right. See you next week.
He's Rob Domofsky. We love having him. It is a Victory Monday here on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy, and Victory Monday is brought to you by Palermo's Pizza, Wisconsin's hometown pizza. Delicious brands like Palermo's, Connie's, Urban Pie, and Screamin' Sicilian has your game day covered. You can find Palermo's in your local grocer's freezer.
Never miss out on a second of the show. Find Jen, Gabe, and Chewy on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your podcasts with Wisconsin On Demand. Sponsored by Celsius Essential Energy Drink.
On 3rd and 4 here.
Luther Gray is Director of Ticket Operations and Group Sales at the Milwaukee Symphony Orchestra. Luther, tell us about the orchestra's mission.
We provide over 135 shows a year, classical concerts, pop concerts, family and educational concerts, and also we do many performances throughout the state as well.
And James Imaging Systems provides their expertise to support the symphony.
Yes, James Imaging is there. It makes it so much easier for us, and they help keep us on schedule.
Luther, it seems that with captivating audiences with acclaimed musical performances, many would like an opportunity to get involved.
That is correct. Attending the concerts is great, giving is great, but the volunteerism is wonderful as well. We need all of that to be a successful, thriving orchestra.
What's the first step people can take to ensure that long-term success?
They can go to our website at mso.org.
That's mso.org. James Imaging Systems, your local business technology partner.
I want to tell you about my good friends at the Ewald Automotive Group. Whether you're hauling, towing, or just plain trucking, it is Truck Month at Ewald Automotive Group. They have hundreds of the toughest trucks from Chevy, Ford, GMC, and Ram, with payments as low as $299 per month, with financing as low as 0%. And it's all backed by Ewald's exclusive 20-year, 100,000-mile warranty. It's going on now while supplies last, and the offer expires at month's end. I've driven some of these trucks with Ewald. They are fantastic. You are not going to want to miss out. So go to ewaldauto.com.
This time of year can be really tough on a number of areas in your home. If you're struggling with any electrical issues, the superheroes at Current Electric are ready to help you. Chuck Smith is a Brookfield Central grad who started Current Electric over 40 years ago. His mission was to serve our community with integrity and quality. Whether it's as small as a switch repair or as large as rewiring your entire home, to a generator to keep your lights on, or even interest in solar energy, call on the superheroes from Current Electric. Go to callcurrent.com. That's callcurrent.com.
Progressive presents Renter's MVP's Most Valuable Possessions. Today's MVP, Tom Kelly's carbon fiber mountain bike. Because more than riding his carbon fiber mountain bike, Tom loves telling people about his carbon fiber mountain bike. Friends, family, even a local barista knows about his carbon fiber mountain bike. And that's why Tom's carbon fiber mountain bike, if you haven't heard about it, is today's MVP. Keep your most valuable possessions protected by bundling your renters and auto insurance with Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers not available in all states.
Check this out, the new iPhone 16 built for Apple Intelligence. At Verizon, you can get it when you trade in any phone from one of their top brands.
Any?
Any.
Even if it's 4 years old?
Yeah.
Even if it's 4 years old and I drop it on the sidewalk?
Yep.
Even if it's 4 years old and I drop it on the sidewalk, then a scooter runs it over, so now it's not just old and cracked, but shattered?
With Verizon, the answer is always yes. Trade in any phone from one of our top brands for the new iPhone 16 with Unlimited Ultimate. Plus, get a new iPad. Trade-in terms apply. See Verizon.com for details. Apple Intelligence coming fall 2024.
Change your grocery game plan to locally owned Century Foods, home of the best meat, freshest produce, and tastiest treats. Now through Wednesday, save on 7 to 15 ounce selected varieties Rana pasta or sauce, $3.99. 64 ounce selected varieties Sunny Delight, 2 for $3. 64 ounce or 8 pack selected varieties Juicy Juice, 2 for $6. 6 to 12 count selected varieties Ice Mountain Spring Water, 2 for $5.
I am starving.
Oh no, never walk into a Century when you're hungry.
Unless it's free sample day. Ooh, pizza, yes. I'd love to try that one.
My husband thinks he can make a meal out of grocery store samples.
Need to wash this down. I think I see someone handing out samples in the liquor department.
Geez, can we focus on our list?
What's this?
It says you can win 2 tickets to Green Bay's home game against San Francisco November 24th.
Or autographed footballs, or a 4-pack of Green Bay Hall of Fame tickets.
You have to enter through Century's Facebook or Instagram.
I'll be entering this on my phone in the deli next to that cheese sample station.
I'm shopping at Century alone next time.
Enter by November 6th.
It's Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
I'm right-handed, but
I'm with
yeah.
Gabe here, yeah. I feel more confident in my left hand here, just cupping right now, other than my other hand cupping.
Mostly because I also...
I get a lot more work out of the right hand.
On 94.5 ESPN.
Here we go.
Whether you're a local who wants to enjoy a night out or you are visiting our great city of Milwaukee, enjoy an artfully stylish experience at St. Kate the Arts Hotel. The hotel is ideally located in the heart of the theater district in downtown Milwaukee with deluxe accommodations, culinary creativity, on-site art galleries, and nightly live music. You'll enjoy every element of your stay at St. Kate. Learn more and book your stay at stkatearts.com. That's stkatearts.com.
Based on the last couple games, not playing complete games, not playing great complementary ball, I think this was a great team effort, in all phases, just playing off each other and going out there and making plays and executing at a high level. I feel like that's where we've lacked in the past couple weeks. So it was awesome. But, defense going out there, getting all those takeaways, that helps so much, and just getting us the ball back. But it was nice just to play a complimentary game all 4 quarters.
Jordan Love looking as good as he has looked all season long in the Packers' victory over the Cardinals. Chewy reminding us the Cardinals are not a good team. Remember, they also lost Marvin Harrison Jr. midway through to the concussion as he got up wobbly. That was a scary moment there. Let's go out to the phone lines very quickly. Jim in Saukville has been waiting patiently, wondering one thing. Good morning, Jim.
Oh, not that much patience involved. Yes, first, on the game coming up, I got to agree with Chewy from the perspective, especially of a wild card. Minnesota beat Houston. We got to beat them, especially considering we lost to Philadelphia. My other comment was with regards to the amount of touchdowns thrown for. How much, I give a lot of credit to LaFleur's offense, and I was wondering what you guys thought about that.
In regards to the Houston game, I think what this team needs is a hang-your-hat type of win, because they haven't had one. Their best win is probably Indy at home. with the backup quarterback. So they need to hang your hat. I think that's why this is such a big game. And then his other question was regarding touchdowns?
No, Matt LaFleur's influence. How much does Matt LaFleur deserve credit for?
Huge. I think Matt LaFleur's he's a hell of a play caller. He has a great feel. I don't think he's as good as Andy Reid, but there's probably a gap. But I think he might be I'm telling you, he might be the second best play caller in the NFL.
Whoa.
He's a great game planner. His one play really ticked me off yesterday, and I just can't get it out of my head.
Which one was that?
To the tight end, to Kraft. I was born to do that.
The sneak, you're saying?
Yes. Wait a minute. Let me understand
I was
correctly. You're
pissed
mad
off
that he got to do it and you didn't?
Correct.
Jeez.
Yes. I mean, that right there is a great call. It's just a great call. I know it's a nothing. It was 3rd and 1. It's not a big deal. But his creativity, just coming up with that, I think is incredible. And, I mean, obviously, he's got to win the big one. He's got to win an NFC championship game, and he's got, obviously, to win a Super Bowl. But I think when it comes to X's and O's and play calling, he is one of the best in the league.
Chewy, did you see the text I sent that Cole Kmet caught 2 touchdowns and was their backup long snapper? He long snapped for an extra point?
Whole time out. What was that? Paying homage to me because I've done that more than once.
No, it was just coincidental that he sent you the text about the long snapping.
And hold on. Look, short snapping, anybody can do that. You snap for punts and have to block out of it. You know what? And the big lerp, you want a competition because he says it's not very hard to long snap? I'm bringing it up. Well, I ain't going to be there for a while, but bring in a football and see how well he does.
I'll believe it when I see it. Matt LaFleur was actually critical about himself in the postgame. I remember listening afterwards and him saying that there was one stretch where he didn't like that they had thrown the ball. I think it was like 3 straight times or something like that. But from a balance standpoint, I pulled the numbers. 32 passing attempts, 38 rushing attempts.
That's perfect.
Chef's kiss. Yeah. Love it. Wilde and Tausch are going to talk more about this game. No Johnny Raincloud today to ruin the Victory Monday. Wilde and Tausch is next on ESPN Milwaukee.
On eastbound 94 between about 76th Street, 84th Street, all the way to 35th. Southbound 43 backing up from just before Hampton Avenue.